Hi, how are you doing? It's Miss Anna-Thea, your divine feminine educator and evolutionary astrologer. And I have two things I want to talk about. I want to let you know that I'm doing a free Decode Your Astrology Chart class. I want to make sure you sign up down below. It doesn't cost you anything. That's next week, Wednesday. And if you can't be there, you'll get the recording. So it's going to be really powerful. It's about your sun, moon, rising, what those really truly mean. Most people, don't really know. I mean, we know that, we're supposed to know what our sun, moon, and rising is, but what does that really mean? And how can you understand when you look at your astrology chart, can you understand it on a deeper level? I think it's a profound journey because it's the code and decoding what your soul's journey is or who you are. And that's the mystery. You are a mystery. You hold the mysteries. All right, so I wanted to make sure of that, and I really love your support. Thank you for subscribing, for liking, for sharing, for commenting. All of that is greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. So please do so. Today, this is Venus Vibes, and I got a late start because I was visiting family, and of course, my Mars is in Cancer, so family is very important to me. And I was there because, well, this is I'm a great auntie. She wasn't there, but that was her parents. That was the first picture that I saw. I had to share that with you. And then, but this is my great aunt. This is my mother's cousin, and her name's Aunt Jackie. And so she was going to be there visiting. And so I had to see her. And she's 91 years old, and she's just beautiful. A very, very, very dear and special woman in my heart. They grew up together kind of. And so she's a really neat lady. She has a lot of spunk, a lot of fire. 91 years old, and she has these beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous eyes. So I always think to myself, if I can be around older people because they have walked before me, right? Where are they going? What's the secret here? I just heard from talking to a friend, the path that we're walking isn't the path. Interesting, right? So there's a secret, there's a mystery that we're here to uncover. And we play all these shenanigans, especially around relationship. But what is the truth? What is the mystery that's unfolding? What are we really here to learn? Do I have the answer? Do you have the answer? It's a mystery. It's unfolding. I do know it has to do with love. I do know that it has to do with finding a sense of inner peace. And last month, I talked about that inner peace with Venus going through Taurus, okay? And this month, Venus is going to be ending its journey in Taurus, zooming through Gemini, and the very last day of July, it'll be at 0 degrees Cancer. Each zodiac sign, each zodiac sign has 30 degrees, okay? So it starts off at 26 degrees Taurus and zooms through Gemini and goes it ends the month and starts the new month at 0 degrees Cancer. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Now, got a little late start here, but July 1st started the month off. Well, last month I talked about Venus and Taurus. And, Venus rules Taurus, also Libra, but this was about creating luxury, a sense of peace, harmony, buying something nice for yourself, because it was also approaching Uranus. And towards the end of the month, it was connecting up to Uranus, where it is right now. Venus, right? I'm talking about Venus. Of course, I mean, I always talk about Venus, right? That's the whole gig here. What was I going to say? This was important. So July 1st got a late start, but we started off the month because today's July 4th. Happy Interdependence Day. We're all finally realizing, yes, we're independent, but we're also very much interdependent. We need each other and we all matter. So that's what I'm celebrating is July 4th today. Okay. But July 1st, we started the month off with Venus and Taurus at the late degrees, right there with Uranus, right? And a beautiful trine connecting up the South Node and the Moon in Virgo and Pluto in Aquarius. So a trine is a harmonious signature. And typically, you can have an out of sign trine, meaning it's not all the same elements. Pluto's in Aquarius, so it's not the same as Taurus and Virgo, which are earth, but that's still okay. Let me explain what this really means, how we started this month. This is about making Virgo relationships more functional. What does it take to make your relationships more functional? Because the other thing is that this Venus with Uranus, and that's connected to Pluto and Aquarius, and Uranus rules Aquarius. It's about not only making it more functional, but elevating your relationship. So how can you elevate? And actually, another word for elevate is really, how can you create more consciousness in your relationships? How can you have more conscious relationships? Sometimes you have to let go of old relationships and find different new friend groups. That could be happening because Uranus and Aquarius are about friend groups, okay? And Uranus and Aquarius are about becoming more conscious, more innovative, more progressive. And I don't mean the political term of progressive. I just mean more open-minded, more seeing things from a more elevated point of view, right? And Aquarius and Uranus want things um, um, more elevated. That's the word that I can think of. More, like futuristic, right? So what is the future? What does the more conscious, more futuristic relationship look like? Maybe not so narcissistic, codependent, maybe not so needy, maybe being able to communicate and speak your words from a higher point of view, right? From a more collective point of view, not just your needs. That's very personal when we're into me, mine, that kind of thing. When we're really taking other people into consideration, we can see the whole broader picture. So, and it's interesting. So that trine, that's how we're starting July off. Now we're at July. I'm going to give you some key dates, okay? July 1st, July 4th, July 7th, July 11th, July 21, and July 31st. These are powerful days, okay? Now, these are key days. They are the apex days of certain activities, astrological activities with Venus. But as you build up to that day, something could be happening. But I'm going to talk to you about all of this. So we talked about July 1st, which is already behind us because I was doing family stuff and visiting my amazing auntie, Aunt Jackie, and seeing my little auntie. I'm the great auntie seeing my little brand new I don't know what I call her, Nisi. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get up on tangents here. I want to stay on track. I have a lot of air in my chart, but I do have a lot of earth as well, which grounds me, keeps me solid. Saturn and Capricorn, that's probably my saving grace. Pluto and Virgo, that's an earth too. Okay, but I have a lot of air sign there. Highly intelligent. Okay, July 4th. That's today, okay? Um, Venus is at 29 degrees and Uranus is at 29 degrees. There's 30 degrees in every zodiac sign. So this is called the anaretic degree. That's really beautiful. It's a powerful marker. That's Venus in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus. So this is, and it's 29 degrees. This is about elevating yourself, becoming more in a very grounded way, because that's Taurus, more conscious in relationship. And it's trying to Pluto to 3 degrees Aquarius. So July 1st, Virgo and the South Node were involved, but then that kind of disengaged. And now we're at the 29 degrees Venus, 29 degrees Uranus. That magnifies this Venus-Uranus desire to elevate and make relationships more innovative, more futuristic, more conscious, more functional. And then on the same day, July 4th, July 5th, it 29 degrees Venus, it goes into Gemini. And so for the rest of the month, it zooms through Gemini, and Gemini is an air sign. So this is very, very fast. But what does Venus and Gemini want to do? It wants to understand, it wants to know, it wants to learn. And it's connected to, let's see, so July the 5th, it goes into Gemini. And then July 7th, that's a key day. Pluto's at 3 degrees. Venus is at 3 degrees. Actually, Pluto goes back to 2 degrees, but there's a big party there because it involves Pluto and Venus. Now, when Pluto and Venus are connected, it's about Pluto transformation, Venus relationships. Transformation in relationships. Now, this is an opportunity for you to meet your limitations and see where you can move beyond them. So pay attention to that, July 7th. It's going to be Pluto, Venus, Uranus, right? They're still connected. But now Venus is going to be in Gemini. And then it will be on July 7th that Uranus enters Gemini. Okay. So these are the outer planets. It's shifting into Gemini. Okay. That's huge. This is a huge cosmic movement and so with Venus and Uranus and Gemini, things are going to speed up. So pay attention July the 7th and see if things start speeding up for you, okay? But again, I'm going to emphasize, what is this all about? This is not only, we start the month with them in Taurus and about, wanting to elevate and make relationships more conscious, but also more luxurious, more sensual. But now, moving into Gemini, they want to understand. What do you need to learn? What do you need to typically for better relating, you need better communication skills. For better relating, you need to understand your triggers. If you don't understand what your trigger points are, for your childhood wounds are, that's a key thing for you to be aware of. For you to be aware of what are the key triggers for your partner. And typically these are lock and key. Let me tell you, we push each other's buttons. But when you become aware of that person is pushing your button, but it's your childhood wound, then you have a greater opportunity to be relating with another on a much more conscious, higher level. And that's what this month is all about, is what do you need to learn? And since it's also connected on July 7th to Neptune, that Neptune and Saturn dissolving, Neptune dissolves things, Saturn is the rock, so it's dissolving, and Neptune is about belief systems. So it's like, what belief systems about relationship? There's a lot of illusions about relationships. The fairy tale, the Cinderella, the knight in shining armor, things that we've all been told and programmed when growing up, men being our hero, that kind of thing. So, these are all fun. This is called the human experience. And so don't shortchange yourself. All of that is a lot of fun, as long as you really understand. This is how we learn. A lot of it is illusion. It's a blast. It's fun being here in the human condition. But if you want to, this month is a great month, especially in the beginning of the month. Well, it's really the whole of the month. It is about elevating your consciousness around relationship, looking at what belief systems are in place that you need to let go of to give more meaning to your relationships and bring more consciousness into your relationships. So that starts at July 7th. And then we have another really good date, July the 11th. Now, this is going to be a powerful time because it's a Pluto moon connection in conjunction with the Venus Uranus. So that Venus Uranus wants to elevate relationship, bring it more conscious. But this day, July 11th, is going to be when when the moon passes Pluto. And when you have a Pluto moon, you have emotional processing. You have shadow work, opportunity for shadow work. You have, deep, dark emotions potentially surfacing and an opportunity for you to process them, because the moon brings light to Pluto where there's darkness, okay? Where there's limitations, where there's abandonment, fear, all these psychological processes inside of us. The moon's going to pass through very quickly. Moves very quickly. It's going to pass through, but that moon Pluto is connected to Venus Uranus that want to elevate your consciousness in relationship, and which is also connected to in a sextile to Neptune Saturn, which wants you to let go of belief systems that don't serve you, that will align you more with your true passion, because it's in Aries, true passion of who you are as an individual. And then after July 11th, so that was that meeting with Uranus, Venus and Uranus, first in Taurus, then in Gemini, and now Venus starts going and becoming autonomous, moving away from Uranus. They had their beautiful connection Then desire, the evolutionary intention again is to really bring more consciousness to how you relate with people, and especially your intimate relationships or your closest relationships. Do you understand your own triggers? Do you understand how to communicate your needs clearly? Can you hold space for other people? Can you be present in your relationship? These are all ways to become more conscious in your relationships. Okay. Or do you numb out? You don't want to numb out. You want to become more conscious this month. Then July 21st is another great one because that's Venus and the moon. So remember how the moon went by Pluto, shining light into the darkness. Moon is going to go by Venus in Gemini. And so moon, Venus is beautiful, right? So they're the two, besides the sun, they're the two luminaries in the sky, and they're that feminine energy. So, that could be a beautiful day, especially in Gemini, and it's square the nodes. Now, remember, I've talked about the nodes. I did a class on the nodes, and right now the nodes are in Virgo, Pisces until July, I believe, of next month. This is an 18-month process, and these nodes are like portals. And you were born in a specific portal, and I was born in this portal. I come from Pisces. I go towards Virgo. Some people they come from Virgo, go to Pisces, but other people are other portals, right? But right now, so we have the portals that we came in on. I did a whole class on that. But those nodes keep moving, and currently we are in the Virgo Pisces portal. It's actually an employment portal, employment, unemployment portal. And that's why I believe we are going through a collective revolution of our workforce and AI replacing work. So that's actually that's a whole other discussion. But the other aspect, it's a very spiritual portal. Pisces is spirituality. Virgo is earth, so it's bringing heaven to earth. It's also about just finding joy and happiness with your relationship with life, with your life. That's really, and the other part of Pisces Virgo is like the serenity prayer, which I don't know verbatim, but it's basically understanding when to make it happen and when to let it happen. Having the wisdom and the discernment is another word for this axis. To know when to step in and Virgo, make it happen, micromanage it, and when to let go, Pisces, and trust in the process. So this is a balance, and this is happening for all of us collectively. But Venus and the moon on July 21st are going to be dancing with this axis, with this awareness. So how much are you gripping and controlling your relationships? And what do you need to, Gemini, understand to bring more joy and happiness? When do you step in Mars is going to be there at the South Node. So there's going to probably be on July 21st where you're going to want to really micromanage, right? You're really going to want to make it happen. But pay attention to that day because maybe you need to, because Mars can be very aggressive and can actually cause ruptures. So see if you assert yourself, but again, assert yourself that day in a very conscious way. Okay, that's the opportunity. And then July 1st, so we've started in the beginning of the month in Taurus, the end of Taurus was zoomed through zoomed through Gemini. And then the last day, July 31st, is another key day because Venus will, boom, come into Cancer. And what is Venus in Cancer? About home and hearth and your feelings and what you need and what the other person needs. And I don't feel ready yet. I need more time. I need to process this a little bit more. I'm feeling vulnerable. That's all Venus in Cancer, right? And so all of this elevation during the month, and then you're ending with that. And elevation and understanding relationships on a deeper level. What's your part? What's your triggers? How can I become more conscious? What psychological processes, what shadow part of me do I need to process to bring myself more available to those people that I love? That's what's going to be happening all month. It's powerful, super powerful. And then the very last day, she enters Cancer. So it's like, woo, that was a big ride of trying to elevate myself in relationship. And now it's like, ooh, I feel a little bit vulnerable. How can I nurture myself, right? What belief systems do I need to let go of? to bring more meaning into my relationships. So that was the Venus Vibe ride for July. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I'm doing a workshop on how to decode your astrology chart. That's this coming week. It's free, it's informative, it's fun. I think you'll get a lot out of it. You don't have to be there, just register and I'll send you the recording, but I'd love for you to be there because we'll have time for Q&A. And then this Venus Vibes for July is so beautiful. Starts with Taurus, zooms through Cancer, and zooms through Gemini, ends in Cancer. The evolutionary intention of Venus is she really, really wants you to elevate and bring more consciousness into your relationships. Understand your triggers, know how to communicate on a higher level, and let go of belief systems that don't serve you. And be willing to learn how to find strength in your own vulnerability. That's how you're going to end the month through this journey of Uranus and Venus being together, wanting to elevate you and bring more consciousness into your relationships. So I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for your patience on letting me do this on the 4th. Happy 4th of July. Happy Interdependence and Independence Day. I will see you next month. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. And I'll be talking to you soon. All right. Take care. Namaste.